I don't want to dive too deep in the overall benefits of the sauna because Dr. Rhonda Patrick and Andrew Huberman, they do a really good explanation of all these benefits. They explain it better than I could have ever explained it because they are, you could say, a little higher in education, and they know the ins and outs. They looked at the research, they've done the research, so they know a little bit more about the subject than me. And I'll be doing you a disservice if I was just talking about it. And plus, you could just go on Google, look up the benefits of the sauna, and there you got a big list of benefits of the sauna. So what I want to take this time to do is look at the hidden benefits of the sauna, some of the benefits that I have noticed that aren't really that much talked about. One of the first ones, it does touch back onto the whole physiological aspect of the sauna. First one I want to touch upon is it extends your workout. This does touch into the more physiological aspect of the sauna because we know the sauna, it's heat, so it vasodilates your muscles. More blood flow to the peripherals are happening because your body has to distribute that heat throughout the body, right? Versus when it's cold, your body is thinking more centrally, where it's shunting more blood to your vital organs like your heart and your brain. So the heat, more vasodilation, we're thinking more blood to your muscles. So how this prolongs your exercise is, for example, you had a really intense gym session or like a cardio day and your heart rate is up. So there's a time period from where your workout ends till you stop burning calories. When you stop that cardio workout, your body is still burning calories even though you're not running anymore or you're not doing the stairs or you're not lifting, but your body is still in a higher metabolic rate, you could say. So the heart rate is still elevated, your blood pressure is still elevated, so it's still definitely burning calories. Most people, what they do is they have a workout, they go home, they sit down, and they lose that benefit of extra caloric burning, you could say, because they don't go to the sauna. So what I always recommend, and it's what I always do, is I always go to the sauna after my workouts, because when you enter a sauna, just entering it first thing or off the bat, you are technically burning calories, and there are a few helpful sauna calculators out there that you could put in your height, your weight, and what sauna you're using, and it's going to give you a rough estimate about how much calories you could burn in 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes time. So for example, for me, I weigh 165, I'm about 5'8". So when I input that information in the sauna calorie calculator, it comes out that I burn about 130 calories, 150 depending on how I'm feeling that day or how long I'm staying in it. But roughly for half an hour, I'm burning about 130 calories. Now that's just me walking in like this, walking in fresh. But if I walk in after a workout, it takes my body longer to reach that homeostasis level or that baseline, right? So the curve is kind of prolonged in a sense, and you're burning more calories than you would if you just entered your workout and went home. And you're burning more calories in a sauna than you would if you just randomly walked in there from your baseline. So that time in the sauna, you're prolonging your calorie burn, you're also getting the other benefits of the sauna, but in a little bit of a more boosted way. The second hidden benefit of the sauna is it increases stress tolerance. So think about what you're going to be going through in the sauna, or if you haven't experienced a sauna yet, I'll give you a little bit of explanation of what happens in the sauna. So you have this idea, I'm going to go to the sauna for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. And the first 5 minutes, it's not bad. You're sitting there, you're sweating, a little gross, but you get kind of used to it. It's not that big of a deal, not that hard. But once you get to the 10-minute, 15-minute mark, it kind of starts to suck, right? Your brain is telling you, hey, you could leave. You got to kind of stay hard in that sauna because your body is telling you, hey, your body and your mind is telling you, hey, you could just stop discomfort and just leave. It's uncomfortable in there. It's hot. It's sweaty. You don't want to be there. And it does suck when you're in there. The first few minutes aren't bad, but when you stay there for 15, 20, 30 minutes, your mind is really telling you, it's like, hey, we got to get out. It's hot. It's uncomfortable. Let's get out. Let's get out of here. You've done 10 minutes. You don't got to do the rest of the 5 or rest of the 10. Just leave. You did enough. And you got to constantly fight this battle within yourself with staying in there. So in a sense, when you put yourself through that little bit of misery, you're putting yourself through stress. And if you could just stick with it and stay in there, you're going to have a little bit more resilience. For example, when you have a stressful day or somebody upsets you, your first response is always to act, right? You always want to say something or do something. Same thing in the sauna. When your body is telling you, hey, leave, this sucks, you want to leave, right? Telling you leave. It wants you to act quickly. But in times of stress, the best thing you could do is just try to stay calm, try to relax, right? You don't want to always be action-oriented. Every action does not need a reaction. And if you could just hang in the sauna and stay there, it's almost like you're subconsciously telling your body that it doesn't have to react to these stressors. You're basically showing that who's in control. You're in control. Not your mind and your thoughts, but the real you is in control. Not your body's not in control. Someone's opinions aren't in control. You're the one that's in control. So subconsciously, wise, it's almost like you're training your body and your mind to battle these negative thoughts or these thoughts of, you could say, weakness. And this inside the sauna stress translates very well into the outside the sauna world. Over time, if you keep doing it, you're going to build that threshold, and the longer you can last in a sauna, it's almost like the better you could deal with stress in the workplace or stress in your actual life. Just for some reason, there's a correlation. The threshold just gets lifted and you become less reactive to certain actions or issues. The third hidden benefit of saunas, it makes you more open-minded. So I'm a guy. It might be a little bit different from women because a lot of the females that I've spoken to, there's not a lot of conversation that goes on in the sauna or in the locker room. But in a guy's sauna, in a guy's locker room, there's a lot of talking going on. So one of the benefits is that you get to talk to people while you're going through this struggle in a sense. And in the sauna, you see people of all different ages, different ethnicities, different races, and it's cool to get a different perspective on their lives, on what they do, why they do it, things like that. And also what I've noticed is very interesting because I used to train in San Diego and I met a handful of you could say, well, to me, they're famous people. I met Dean Lister, I met Jocko Willink, I met Michael Lemire. Some of these are athletes. Jocko Willink is a Marine that has his own podcast. If you haven't ever heard of him, I recommend you reading his books and checking out his podcast. So I got the luxury and benefit of talking to him and, like I said, Dean Lister and some people from the UFC or people that are into MMA. And I've always spent some time with them in the sauna, and I've noticed that they offer a lot of information, a lot of knowledge. So it's a good place to just be able to talk to somebody. Nothing really else you can do there but talk. And sometimes it's a little bit easier to stick out that 30, 20 minutes when you talk to somebody instead of just sitting there quietly and just battling your own demons. But I also recommend you taking those sauna sessions to also focus more on yourself. Do a little bit of each, take some time to just focus on yourself, sitting there for 15, 20 minutes, just by yourself with your thoughts, with your intentions. But then on some other days, also get in there and converse. It's always good to have a nice balance between just you, but battle your demons, and then you also conversing with some people. What I've noticed is that it's almost like being in that agony, in that heat. It's almost like people have their guard a little bit lower or their shield dropped a little bit, because sometimes you have like these intimate and interesting and vulnerable conversations, and you learn about what people are going through in their lives. You're learning about their relationships, what their work life is, how their life is at home. For some reason, just you struggling and all your other guys around you or people around you struggling just opens a room or opens the sauna for a little bit more vulnerability, because it's almost like you guys could all relate in some kind of in a sense. Sometimes it's hard to talk to people because you feel like you can't relate to them, but for some reason, being in the sauna and now going through that mental suck, it's almost like you find something to all agree on. And you're obviously all agreeing on being in a sauna and a health benefit, so that is almost like a little bit easier to engage with everybody because you have some similarity. There's some almost like camaraderie in the sauna. And it's always cool to get to speak with people with different backgrounds, especially to older people or just people that are different races, different ethnicities, because you might notice that you guys are all going through the same thing, but in a different way. So it's interesting how they view certain things and how you view certain things. So you all might maybe have the same idea of working hard is the way to the top, for example. And everyone has this idea of working hard to get to the top, but everyone has a subjective view of it. So their objective view is, we all agree that working hard gets you to the top, but every individual has a different subjective view of that. Is what is their version of working hard? What is their version of this? What is their version of the top? So that's actually really cool, because you could all agree on something, but you agree in a different way. You got to the same conclusion, but in a different way. You also learn a lot from these people in the sense of relationships and making mistakes, because you'll notice that some people might be in the same shoes as you, but their approach to certain things is a little bit different, or that some of the problems or struggles you've had these last couple of years are the same struggles that some people are having currently. And it's almost like you can offer advice so they don't make the same mistakes. And the older people or the older guys, they offer different advice so you don't make future mistakes. So it's almost like a interesting mix of collaboration, because people have been through the same certain situations, but some people have had a negative association with that. Some people had a positive association with that. So breakups, right? You say we've all been through breakups. You get different perspectives about breakups, because some people might have went through the same breakup, but some might have gained power from that breakup, while others maybe slid into depression. And you kind of figure out what you should do, what you shouldn't do, and aspects like those of where you can maybe not fuck up, or you could also help somebody realize, hey, if you do this, it's going to be bad because you're going to fuck up, because that's what I did and I fucked up, so don't do that. So those are the three main hidden benefits that I believe sauna brings. It extends your workout, it makes you more open-minded, and it makes you more resilient to stress.